So that's how I know. I did, but I was taking the mick out of your voice. Hello everybody, welcome to Chaz Draycott Media and welcome to my first episode on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I've wanted to actually do some flying for a while since I've got back into the whole air traffic control and commercial airliner side of things, and I'm finally here. My issue has been storage, basically. I've been in a bit of a financial situation where I've not been able to afford a better PC, more hard drives, NAS, network access storage I think it's called, to store all of my old videos and footage and all sorts on. So my PC's been filling up and up and up. Luckily I found a couple of hard drives in the ensuite just at the end of last week, and I've moved nearly 750 gigs worth of stuff onto those. It's just old footage that I'm not really going to use anymore, stuff that I don't need to access. So I've been able to download this and I've been able to play it. My other sticking point has been the fact that my RTX 2070 in this PC is screaming out for mercy. As you'll have seen in some of the Tower Simulator 3 videos, my camera's been jumping sometimes. It's not quite able to put out the frame rate I'd want. We're going to get there in the end, but still, I want to still carry on creating... I still want to carry on creating content for you, and I know that some people would have liked to see me play this, so here we are, we're going to mess with it. This is going to be one of my very first flights in the game. I think I've only done about 7 so far that I've taken seriously anyway. A lot of times I've just been setting stuff up to get going. So we're going to go straight to the world map. I've been doing a lot of flying of GA aircraft in and out of Liverpool. I've actually flown a real aircraft from Liverpool to Liverpool with a good friend of mine, Jordan. He's actually bought a Piper Arrow recently as well, bless him. He's an absolute star. He took us up in a Tomahawk, which was GRVND. I think I'll try and put a picture of it up here. But what I've been doing is just doing circuits and just doing laps, basically. So I've always started from ramp 49. I don't quite know why. And then I'm going to land back on runway 27. And I've been using the ILS 27 approach. And I've been using the BART 1T27 departure. So it basically just puts you further away from the airfield and you can just pop back in. I'm going to use this just as an example of what I've been doing. The aircraft that we're using is the Textron Aviation Beechcraft Bonanza G36. Wonderful little aircraft, and I've downloaded a livery pack that means we don't just get the standard black and red livery. We've got the light blue ones as well, obviously, to match my branding. Looking at the customization, we've got the code G Charlie Delta Mike Alpha. We're going to be call sign Shed 26. And we're not going to mess with anything else on this. We're just going to jump straight into it. We're using the real time of day. There are going to be other players online as well, but that's nothing to worry about. This isn't VATSIM. So let's jump in. Something worth noting as well is the fact that I'm eventually going to hopefully learn to be at a VATSIM level with all of this, whether it be controlling or whether it be as a pilot. We'll get there in the end. I have got all my graphics on low though, I'm afraid, so it's not going to look as pretty as this game usually can do. You'll see all the different elements rendering in on the right hand side and all the buildings sort of fading in, but there she is, our Beechcraft Bonanza G36. Lovely, lovely looking aircraft, and we're going to just be doing some wonderful circuits in it today. So we're going to just move all this stuff out of the way at the moment. I've been learning gradually how to start this aircraft. We've got the battery switch over here. We're going to put the alternator on as well, switch the avionics master on, and we're going to get the auxiliary fuel pump up on here. Now, for this, I'm using the Cytec X52 Pro control system. It's more of a thing for fighter jets and so on, really, but it's all I've got on hand at the moment. I've got my mixture switches over here and propeller. I've got them on this little throttle quadrant here. We're going to put the mixture nearly 100%, put the prop at nearly 100% as well. Make sure that's on. We're going to turn the magnetos on over here and get them started. We need to make sure this park brake is done. I've got that on a switch down here. Parking brake is on. Let's start her up. Cracking. So for now we're going to turn the mixture and the RPMs down. We're going to turn that very noisy fuel pump off. I'm going to set this screen to ENT. I don't even know what that is. Enter or accept, which basically shows us the navigational route that we're going to be on. Let's start our pitot heat and prop de-ice just in case. We're going to put our strobe lights and our beacon and nav on as well. We're not going to turn the floodlighting on. We don't really need it here. Taxi lights are going to go on, and then we're going to tune ourselves in on here to ground. You don't do any sort of verbal clearances or anything Liverpool when you're just on your own.
Shed 26 IFR to Liverpool,
and it's picked up Shed.
Shed 26 is cleared to Liverpool Airport is filed. Take off runway 27, climb and maintain 4,000
okay.
feet.
So we're going to be maintaining 4,000 feet. Which is going to be putting on there. Let's
Shed
acknowledge
26
that.
cleared to Liverpool Airport is filed. Take off runway 27, climb and maintain 4,000 feet.
Yep, we're going to
Departure
get
on
that. This is just for the autopilot, basically. The autopilot is going to try and follow that. Now that's something that I've messed with, is the voices, actually. I couldn't stand some of the voices before. I know these are even worse, really, but I forgot to change that before I started recording. Anyway, it is time, I believe now, to request pushback, and that is actually a mod I've downloaded for this game. It's called Toolbar Pushback, and it is a phenomenal thing. I think on X-Plane it's known as Better Pushback. I highly recommend this, because just look how easy this is. You get this little window pop up on here, and you literally just drag the aircraft where you want to be. This is just using the mouse, of course. Control and scroll down zooms you out, and then when you scroll it rotates where the aircraft is going to be. I want it about there. We're going to click there to set that waypoint and then press enter, and that is going to be us ready to go. So we're going to request said pushback, sorry. This guy with this thing is apparently going to push us. Very brave man indeed in his high vis when he has connected to us. Are you on? Look at him and his pit vipers. Are you in the prop? And he seems to have been... Ah. So he's pushing us back now. Lovely looking game regardless, even on low, you know, I'm still happy with how Microsoft Flight Simulator looks. It's just to get learning, like I say. I'm not putting the money into X-Plane yet or anything. I've got Game Pass already, so I may as well download this and crack on with it. Pushback is pretty much done. And that's so much better, because usually when you do it, you have to communicate with ATC to get pushback done. And you have to tell it to turn right, tell it to turn left, tell it when to stop. And there's a big delay between it reading it out and then the ATC reading it back to you. So we are ready to go. Let's contact ground, shall we? Request taxi.
Shed 26 with whiskey ready to taxi IFR. Shed 26 taxi to and hold short of runway 27 via taxiway Kilo Alpha.
Okay, we're going to turn the mixture and the props back up. Acknowledge the taxi clearance. And did we put the taxi lights on? Yes, we did. Okay, let's crack on, shall we? Parking brake off. Let's get this little bonanza on the road, or in the air, shall we say. So we taxi sort of this way, and then you chuck it round to the right. Love the creaking noises when you hit the brakes in this thing. This is something I'm still very new to, but I've done a lot of flying before on DCS with this setup as well, with the throttle and all the buttons and so on, so I know exactly how it all works and how I want it to work. So I'm just getting used to the procedures and sort of study level aircraft like this. I can start an FA-18 Hornet. Don't know why I couldn't sort of start something like this. That fuel pump isn't still going, is it? There's something very noisy still whistling away. So we're going runway 27, which means we're going to make a left turn down here. I love the little screen just in front of us here, actually, that shows us exactly where the nose of the aircraft is on the lines on the ground. Hopefully I will be able to turn the graphics up to medium at some point and my PC will not die. It's just that it uses the same encoder to record the camera. Maybe a standalone camera might be a bit of a better idea for me in future. Still, we'll see, shall we? I'm going to go to flaps 1 for this. I've got the flaps mapped down here. You'll see them coming down there. It's great that you can just look out the window and just see your little wings. I do love that. We do not hold short at this one, I believe. We can carry on round to the next one. I've been learning quite a lot off my friend Jack as well, actually, who I must thank for his never-ending knowledge of this sort of stuff. He often flies on VATSIM and knows it inside out, and I hope to be sharing a cockpit with him at some point when I learn it. But this is what I wanted to include, you know. I want the sort of progression for it all, you know. I want you to see how it all starts and how it ends up. Not sure that we're going to get... Oh yeah, we need to speak to tower. There we go, request takeoff clearance. That usually pops up automatically when you come to a stop.
Runway 27 ready for departure IFR to Liverpool. Shed 26 altimeter 29.902 wind 271 at 4.
Okay.
Cleared for takeoff runway 27.
Acknowledge the clearance.
Cleared for takeoff runway 27 shed 26.
That's the element I'm looking forward to getting involved with, actually, is the audible communication with ATC. We turn onto runway 27, a little bit fast. Whoops. Never mind, a little bit fast. That was way too fast, Chaz. So we're going to get back onto the centre line. You can tell I'm still a rookie at this. And we're going to power up. And we're going to crack on. Make sure that the props and the mixtures are all on full. Let's get on with it. That's a good noise. Having to put a little bit of rudder into the right. Shaking its bag off. We probably don't even need flaps in this thing. Tiny little gentle pull on the stick, and we are up and away. Lovely. Right, I'm going to put the gear up. Again, that's something I've got mapped down here. And we're going to bring the flaps up. And there is the Maisie. And there goes Liverpool Airport. And there goes us. So I've got it also trimming for me as well, because let's face it, trimming is a massive ball ache. We're going to continue straight on here, and we're going to get the autopilot on, which is down here. And we should be climbing up to 7,000, I think he said. No, 4,000, sorry. We want the vertical speed on, and we want that to be taking us up about, let's go 1,000 feet a minute. Make sure that the auto throttle is on as well, wherever that may be.
Contact Liverpool approach on 119.855. 119.855 shed 26.
Flight director's on, altitude hold, no. There we go, we needed nav mode on, so it follows the navigation of the flight plan. These are the things that you have to learn when you're doing this. Vertical navigation as well. Won't let me turn that on for some reason. Maybe because vertical speed is on. Let's try VNav. Nope. This is just the stuff you've got to get used to, I suppose, Chaz. Now look at that, levelling out now. Because we're following that purple line, you see. It's going to join on to the line of the flight plan there. And it says the waypoint's up here, so it's 15 LQ, which is that one there. And then we're going to go to intercept, which is that there. Contact them.
Liverpool approach shed 26 is passing 1,500 feet, climbing 4,000 feet. Shed 26 Liverpool approach altimeter 29.9 continue as planned.
Sounds like you've sat on something, mate. Sounds like you've sat on something. Let's have a look outside, shall we? Beautiful, look at that. Cracking on. And this is with the graphics on low as well. It still looks fantastic. The aircraft always look really good. It just affects your terrain and other bits, but to be honest, you spend that little time looking at it that I'm not too upset by it. What a cool little aircraft. I mean, that terrain, you know, it's not terrible, is it? I'm not that upset by it. And I hope you're not either. Back into the cockpit we go. We're climbing through 2,500 feet now, going up to 4,000. Now that says 2,500, so I'm assuming that's the sort of height it wants us at for this. Again, something I don't know, but this is all stuff that I'm learning. I want to know exactly how it all works. We're going to get the second alternator on as well, by the way. May as well take some pressure off the initial alternator. We don't need the second battery on at this point. Fuel selector's down here. I've many times already in trying to learn this aircraft turned that on to none rather than just one of the fuel tanks, of course. But yeah, good little aircraft this. I really, really like it. It's nice to see the sort of modernised version of this aircraft, you know, where it's all just screens rather than having all the dials everywhere. There's still some of the dials over here, which is nice as a fail-safe to what's going on. But I love this. I really do love this. I've only been doing it for about 2 days now of just the odd flight here and there. I did a flight yesterday with my brother and my friend Dan. We did a flight from Glasgow, I believe we did, to Dublin. I had a missed approach and had to go all the way back around. And the only thing I would criticise this game for compared to something like X-Plane is the autopilot systems and the navigation. When it sort of comes head to head, it can be a massive pain in the backside. So I'm hoping that, to be honest, if I do get an X-Plane at some point, or a better study level airliners, and I start using SimBrief and so on, it could be a bit of a better experience. But there you go, the waypoint's just changed. You saw the line tick very quickly to the right, and now the aircraft is going to bank over to the right hand side for us. And this is look ma no hands situation.
26, you are 6 miles north. Keep speed not above 185 knots. Expect ILS runway 27 approach via Lima Papa Lima transition.
We're doing 81 knots. 80 knots. Because Chaz isn't at full pelt, there was a little bit more give. I say, you saw my hand move on that. There was definitely more than a little bit more give in the little Beechcraft. I'm interested by the fact that this screen here, this curve seems to be moving away. It's like it's rounding out the curvature of the flight path. Oh, sorry, yes I did. I was just telling my wonderful viewers what we were doing.
5 knots, expect ILS runway 27 approach via Lima Papa Lima, transition cleared to Lima Papa Lima Shed 26.
Lovely. And you know, it's nice to take the autopilot off and just throw these things about before. I've actually done a flight very similar to this the first time around without using any autopilot, just to get used to how it all handles and how to do it on a stick like this rather than a yoke. And it was really cool. Really, really cool. We're just coming up on that waypoint now, which is D081P, and it says that up there. We've got D081J to D081P. That's the distance to it, 4.1 nautical miles. We're then going to be carrying on in a straight line and then turning back on ourselves, I believe. Just got to 4,000 feet as well. So the vertical speed is now off because it's basically got to the height we wanted to get to, so it's no need for vertical speed to be on. All of this does work as well from what I know. A lot of it I don't really know what it all does, but it's still really good to have it. That's the thing. It makes you feel like an absolute boss when you get this stuff right. I've flown the Airbus A320neo a couple of times and it just looks awesome. Okay, so descend and maintain 2,000, so we're going to adjust that on here. This is the altitude here. You can click and hold that in and you can see just on the blue up there, it's gone down to 2,000. Going to get vertical speed on and then drop it down by 500 feet per minute. And we're just going to drop on that again. We'll come back off the throttle a little bit and acknowledge him. Maybe we can bring that down a little bit quicker as well. Let's go to 1,000 feet a minute, shall we? Make sure that the aircraft doesn't carry on accelerating too much. Oh, it's maintaining auto throttle for me. Okay. I thought I was well in control of the throttle before, but it seems happy to sit at 174 knots. Then again, is it doing auto throttle for me? No, it's not. I did wonder. I did think it didn't have auto throttle. So we're going to go down to 2,000 feet now. We're just going to 3,000 as you see there. Another 1,000 feet to go. And we're still going to be going in a very straight line here. We're going to request IFR clearance.
Liverpool approach Shed 26 requests destination change to Liverpool. Shed 26 is cleared to Liverpool Airport is filed. Squawk 7125.
I thought I was already. Going to Barton, which is going to be in a straight line. I know where that is on here.
Shed 26 cleared.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Airport is filed.
But still, this is what it's all about. Just learn the whole system, learn how it all works. Now he mentioned 29.92 there.
Turn left heading 260, climb and maintain.
That is this little reading down here, which is the QNH. Okay, so now he's told me to go to 2,000 feet. That's fine.
Climb and
do that.
2,000 feet.
That's 9.98 at the moment. We need to change what that is. So we need to turn. What we're going to do is basically turn around on ourselves by the look of this. I can't remember where the thing is here, because you can change that basically, which is it's almost like the air pressure outside the QNH, but I can't remember where that was on here, which one of it was. Oh, there it is, it's that one. So we turn that, you see, and it affects the altitude. Oh, come on. But this is the thing, you know, I'm still learning this. I'm going to keep reiterating that till the cows come home. Give it a bit more power. We're still heading towards Barton, which is in a straight line. We're still at 2,000 feet. It's all going swimmingly, really. Just me being an idiot and requesting a different approach when I didn't need to. Sounds like there's something rattling in the back ear. I don't know what, though. Shut up. Ah, look, it came up with a warning there to say, look, you're getting to your waypoint now. So now it's going to turn us all the way around on this path, and then I believe we're going to go back. It's cool to just have that, like, all I'm doing here is touching the mouse to just move the camera about. And it's following that really smooth turn around, look. It's following it beautifully. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I do feel inclined to tilt my head, though. I'm wondering if we do need to start going left, you know, but this flight plan seems to be taking us the right way for now. It's just going completely back on yourself seems a bit wrong to me. We're not quite at full chat at the moment, so there's a little bit more in the tank if we need it, but we're doing 150 knots, which is fine. So it says LPL transition, so I think what we're going to do now is go back on ourselves, and then I think LPL's up there. I do have a VFR map available actually, which I can use. show us where waypoints are. Right. So what we're then going to do is go back on ourselves. Yeah, so we've turned around here to go this way and then back via LPL, and then it's going to put us onto maybe this, or we could just turn straight right off that and then go into Liverpool. So we'll see. Although, why is it doing this now? We've done a complete turn. Now it's levelling out in a weird direction. Have I spun something? Oh, did I spin this? Ah, I think I spun that. Like an Egypt. Oh no. Yeah, nav mode's on, so I don't know why it's spinning us around, but we'll request a vector.
Shed 26 requesting vector to next waypoint. Shed 26 continue to Lima Papa Lima turning and following heading 255.
Yeah, 255 it says.
Continue to Lima Papa Lima turning and following heading 255 Shed 26.
Yeah, I've right-clicked that, so it's just going to follow nav mode now rather than me choosing what the heading's going to be. So we get to see this lovely view again. It is great, that. The sun's going to have gone down by the time we get back. But I like to treat it with a bit of responsibility, so, you know, I wouldn't want to just jump straight into an Airbus and try and do this, not knowing how to cover some of the basics and overcome certain scenarios in just a smaller aircraft, you know, where it might not affect as many people or might not be as much of a pain in the backside to fix. So I think it's quite cool to be able to do this. Let's see what it does now it gets back to this point of the turn again, whether we do level out and carry on in that direction. Yeah, it's leveling us out now, which is good. So we should be alright here. I'm going to turn on the floodlighting though. It's actually getting a little bit dark in here, so we'll turn on the floodlighting so we can see everything. I'm scared now that it's just going to suddenly turn right, when realistically it should start turning left about now. This purple thing tends to move first, and then you'll see the aircraft bank. So watch this bit come down, this bit go up, please. Any moment now. Yep, there you go. Okay, so we are following that route still. I'll skip on a little bit now we go into this turn, and I'll get us to the next waypoint. So the next waypoint is actually one we've already been to, which is D081J. So we are literally going back on ourselves now. We're going past D081P, which was one of the sort of transitional waypoints on the way to Barton, and now we're going back again. Odd, but if this is how it works, this is how it works, I guess. We're doing fine for fuel, and we can switch that over as well with the fuel selector down here at any point. It's currently on the left tank, I believe, which is why the left one's a bit more depleted, and then we're going to go for the right tank if we need to, but I don't think we will need to at this point. This is where the turn is going to come in, so that's going to put us back to LPL and then spin us around again up here and then put us on to final approach. It's a bit of a convoluted route, but it's good because it helps you still follow the autopilot, know what's going on, and as we saw a minute ago, rectify any issues. And the beautiful thing about autopilot is you don't need your hands on the controls at all times either, so you can just chill and have a drink if you need to. There you go, look, you can see on the screen down here that we are now getting to the next waypoint, D081J, and it's happy for us to cut that corner because it knows that realistically an aircraft can't do that. So we're going to make this turn in just a moment's time. And there we go, it's now ticked to the waypoint, so we're going to be entering the turn now past D081J. And in just a moment the white line will then go purple, and then that'll be the next leg, and you can see there, look, runway 27, that's where we're going to be heading. Not quite sure what that part of it is, but hopefully it doesn't have us fly over and then go back on ourselves again. Maybe that's if you get it wrong. Yeah, look, we're going down there to LPL, and then we're going to turn left, get onto the final approach, and then make our landing. This is just lovely. This really is. There's Liverpool down there, you can see. There was an aircraft, I believe, taxiing there. I think there was another aircraft just holding short of the runway. You can see some more flashing lights there as well. The further you zoom out, actually, they are to see. This is us now about to turn left again in just a minute to get into the pattern as such, and then line up with the ILS. That fuel quantity in the left tank is getting down to yellow, so I'm going to switch that over to the right one. If it'll let me. For some reason it won't let me. I'm going to have to guess, is it right click or left click? Ah! I'll always get that wrong. I'll always get that wrong. So he basically turned the fuel off for a moment there, but now we switched it over to the right-hand tank. It's getting a bit darker over here, isn't it? Look, there's a lot of cloud in the air. This is based on live weather as well here in the UK right now. It's 4:30 in the afternoon local time where I am. The sun is going down over the west coast of the UK. We don't need to speak to them. We're just getting on with our path at the moment. We'll contact them when we get onto the approach.
Shed 26, you are 7 miles east of Liverpool.
Oh.
Contact Liverpool Tower on 126.355 when inbound on the approach.
Roger that. He sounds like a really bad sort of villain sidekick in a like a kid's cartoon or something. Oh, I'll tell you who he reminds me of actually. He sounds like the is he called Birdarang from Teen Titans Go? My son watches a lot of that, so that's how I know.
Did you hear my last transmission?
I did, but I was taking the mick out of your voice. Okay, they want us to speak to them when we are on the approach, so we're not going to contact them just yet. I think this is cool, by the way. When you put your registration in, it brings it up on there. I think that's really, really cool, so you know what aircraft it is. Okay, now we're entering that turn, the final turn onto the ILS. I don't think I'm going to go up to the extent of intercepting the ILS here. I think I'm just going to let it bring it in a straight line, and I'll just butter it when we get there, of course. I did actually mess about with my brother and do a flight the other day where we went from Abu Dhabi to Dubai during the middle of the day in these things. Went all the way there. It was about an hour and 25 minutes sort of flight that I did, and I got so excited by everything working and lining up and almost landing itself that I forgot to put the gear down. Really. Following this turn nicely now onto CF27, we'll then line up with FF27 and we'll be on our way into Liverpool. That looks very lovely out there, that, doesn't it? Another very tasty turn indeed. Let's turn the floodlighting off and see how this looks now, because to be honest I don't think we need the floodlighting on at this point. It's only when you need to see more specific sort of individual switches and stuff. The auto exposure on this game is really good as well, because when we look out there you'll notice everything in the cockpit goes darker, and then when we look down here it all goes brighter again. I love the auto exposure on that. I think that's a really cool feature. There's the runway just up there, so we're now going to be levelling out slightly to get onto CF27 and then FF27, so we will contact the tower at this time.
Liverpool Tower shed 2610 miles east inbound ILS runway 27 approach. Cleared ILS runway 27 approach shed 26.
Okay, we've hit that waypoint, so on we go. And now you can see it's joined up to the next part. And we are, if I just press this to get us a little bit higher up, just to look over the nose. Kind of lined up. Looks like we're a little bit to the right, maybe. And it is still levelling itself out though, which is nice. The aircraft is holding itself at 2,000 feet. And it's got altitude hold mode on, so we want to turn that off so it allows itself to drop down gradually. I'm going to sit at about 100 knots here, not overdo it. I'm doing about 110 actually right now. You can see the little lights to the side there. You want 2 white, 2 red, I've been told. There's an aircraft up out there that's just either departed or is messing about. It's not really dropping much at all, so this may be me landing it manually. We've still got some decent distance between us and it though. This is something I'm still not sure about, is landings. I'm not really great at knowing when it's sort of intercepted the ILS or what to do sort of when I leave the aircraft in control or when I know that it's going to do everything for me. I think we definitely need to lose some height now though.
26 wind 27 1 at 4. Cleared to land runway 27.
Okie dokie.
Cleared to land runway 27.
Let's land it ourselves, shall we?
26.
Right, let's set this up and take autopilot off. You'll see it's suddenly a lot more bouncy. We're going to start dropping height though. We need to really get down. Don't really want to nose down the aircraft too much. I'm going to try and keep it around 100 knots. We're not going to bring any flaps down at this point, but we are going to bring the gear down. Looks like there's something on the runway. Hopefully that Uberjigers quite soon. Go through 1,700 feet. We've still got plenty of time. You can just see the altitude in the bottom of the screen as well there. Just down there, 1540, 1520. I feel like I'm slightly over to the left. Still at 1,000 feet, so we definitely need to drop down. I think all 4 lights on the ILS are white at the moment, which is signifying that we're too high. I've probably made a lot of errors in this as well so far, so please do forgive me. I wanted to show you the progress of learning all of this and trying to become very good at it. This is the point of it, basically, rather than roasting me in the comments for getting it wrong. Please do allow me to learn it and get it right, and I just hope you enjoy watching it. Oh, we really need to pop that nose down, Chaz. Okay, 750 feet now. Alright, mate. Right, why are you saying that so much?
500.
Oh, tiny, minute adjustments. I wish you could see the stick actually on the camera right now, because we are floating around. Now there are 4 red lights tell me that I'm maybe too low, so we'll give it a bit of power, bring it up a bit. The screen just at the bottom as well is really good for showing you how well you're lined up with the runway. Unfortunately, someone's going to spoil this by being parked on the runway, which is very annoying. I'm going to bring the nose up slightly. I'm going to drop the speed all the way down now. We're going to go through the back of the commercial airliner, drop it down, and I've pulled it up a bit, and butter. Absolute butter. That was quite nice, wasn't it? I'm quite proud of that. Roger that, sunshine. Still, just like when we took off, we're having to use a bit of left rudder. Oh, the textures look awful on the ground, don't they? Sorry. I think we'll be turning right here. Follow this jaggedy, horribly rendered yellow line. Look over the nose. Ah, that makes it a bit better, doesn't it? Well, welcome back to Liverpool. Really happy with that. Contact ground, shall we? Let's get it slowed down. What is that doing? I love the creaking.
Liverpool ground shed 26 request taxi to parking.
I'm going to turn the mixtures back down now. We don't need as much power or RPMs.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Echo Alpha Kilo shed 26.
Echo Alpha Kilo. I'm going to go back to this camera just so we can look over it. It's like sort of going like that. Oh goodness me, that's very neon, that aircraft you have there, sir. Hey, that van's going faster than us. Does that say something about my taxi speed or what that van's got in it engine-wise? But if you're just starting out on this game, this is the sort of stuff that, you know, you could probably expect to be doing. I absolutely love this because I'm still using the sim as intended. I'm doing a flight as intended. I'm just not, you know, not jumping straight into the biggest and fastest thing I can go in. You know, I want to learn it properly, and I feel like smaller aircraft like this are the best ones to use. I believe that's the dirty EasyJet livery as well. Now, I've downloaded that one, so yeah, it's applied it. Although there is a weird... Oh, okay. There is a weird glitch, actually, where the cockpits glow completely bright purple, and I've noticed that on a few things. It actually does it on this as well if you zoom out far enough, unfortunately. It's something to do with the alpha channels that let light in and light out. But we're now just going to taxi back to where we were before and park her up. Oh, the neon Airbus has spawned back in just as I tried to do a nice shot. Oh, looks like we've got some interesting traffic on our... and someone has very kindly spawned in on the general aviation ramp in an Airbus A310. No. Get off. Get away. Oh, Lord. This game. But there's so much that goes into so many flight sims, you know. There's always going to be imperfections, especially when you're doing it online as well, and there's people that could use different aircraft types and models and all sorts. So I'm trying to learn it and trying to fly it for the right reasons. You know, I want to learn to do this properly and do it on VATSIM because I'm horrendously motion sick. For someone that loves planes and cars so much, it's actually embarrassing how easily I get motion sickness. I'm never going to be able to do it for real, but I want to do it as closely as possible. So we're going to hit the brakes here. I'm going to turn it to the right, and we're just going to park it up. Oh, are they waiting for me? Oh, he's waiting for me. So let's make our way over to him. Let's be polite. Oh no, mind your yeah, mind your, what's it called? Your forklift, mate. There you go. We cleared you. You're all right, aren't you? Didn't know you lot were waiting for me. I'm sorry. We good? Whoa, that's a fast taxi, mate. And that's the thing, you get people that do that. Right then, let's shut everything off, shall we? Let's turn the mixtures and things down. I'm not sure if you're meant to turn this off completely. They're off. Let's turn the mixtures all the way down. Let's turn the avionics off. And that's that, apparently. So we're done. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this. This has literally been my first recorded flight on the game. And it's all about learning from this point going forwards. I might do some more of these and we can see how I've sort of improved or changed things in the future. But yeah, I'm really enjoying being on this game at last as well, and finally doing some actual flying. We'll see where this takes us into the future on this channel, I guess. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.